All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Shred Beer Company, and they are out of Rocklin, California, and this is their Hop Suey. So this is a West Coast Double IPA that comes in at 8.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, and this can is just over 1 month old. I'm gonna give a huge thanks, shout out once again to a friend of mine and a fellow BeerTuber, Joe Senigaglia, for this beer. So huge thanks to him for this one. In the description box, I'll post a link to both the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that Joe sent my way and a link to his channel. Now at this point, I keep on saying the same thing over and over when I'm shouting Joe out. This is the most simple way I can put it. Joe's a fantastic beer tuber. If you're not subscribed to his channel, go over to his channel, check it out. I think you'll sub because fantastic content. Anyway, huge thanks to Joe for this one. Now, I did see that Joe posted a review of this. I think it was maybe like 3 or 4 days after I posted the beer mail unboxing video. So I have not watched his review of this one, so I'll do so after I review this. But this was the one that kind of caught my eye in the box because this label is simply put amazing. This is one of the best beer labels I've seen in a hot minute. Regardless of what I think about this one, I think it's going to go behind me on the pretentious wall of bottles and cans because it is so fantastic. Just love the name of it. You got, Hop Suey, you got the hops in the container. It's just like, I don't know, this is just fantastic. Anyway, hops they're using in this one are Mosaic Cryo, Strata, Mosaic, and Nelson. So 2 different kinds of Mosaic and Strata and Nelson. All 3 of those hops, sign me up. Let's crack it open, get in the glass, see what we got going on here. Now, this is the second beer I'm reviewing in one day. Earlier on, I reviewed Shred's Mad Skills Pils, which was a fantastic German-style Pilsner. I'm going to post them both in the same day. So you're going to see this one a bit later in the day, and you should have already seen that one posted by me. Oh, a little bit of carbonation going nuts here. I didn't go too crazy with the pour, so I don't know. It might be a little bit of user error, but maybe not. I don't know. Huge head. Again, there's not many things that can stop me from talking, like dead in my tracks. That, my friends, was just one of them. Because that not only got a little bit of dirty glass mafia going on, but yeah, so anyway, that looks beautiful outside of the fucking horrendous pour. It has this, how would I call this? It has like a yellow orange golden color. Like it has a great clarity, it has that clear beer vibe because it's a West Coast double IPA. Not a ton of carbonation, but this doesn't have the etching that promotes it, just some bubbles here and there. 3 finger of an off-white, I'd say that's like almost eggshell white. Very compact, but there's some bigger bubbles in here, so it kind of has that soap sudsy look, but I mean, it looks really nice outside of, again, I guess an aggressive pour, but not really. I feel like I didn't go too heavy with it, but whatever. Skin knows. It's a beautiful combination of that Nelson character, which I'm getting more like a white wine kind of spritzy kind of nose, more so than like white grapes. It's like straight white wine. And then that dank kind of old school blueberry vibe from Mosaic. Or I could say even maybe dank mixed berries because you got Strata. Maybe I wouldn't say specifically blueberries, like just mixed berries. So you said blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. Very dank, very weedy, very just almost earthy in the nose. A little bit of that like slightly bready kind of malt character as well. Oh my God. It's very intense though. And this is just over a month old. And it smells like it's, just over a week old. Like it is very intense with the nose. It almost has that Simcoe dank quality to it. There's an herbaceous kind of earthiness that's kind of reminiscent of like a Simcoe hop beer. But I think that's probably just like the Nelson and Mosaic kind of doing that in tandem. Oh, Jesus. I don't get too... Listen, I know everybody's on the clear beer kick, especially Joe, and I never loved like West Coast style IPAs. I've said this many times in my reviews, but going back, 10, 12, 14 years ago, I didn't like IPAs because they were too bitter. They had too much of like a West Coast IPA. It was just too much for me. And then I started to enjoy them. And now over the last 2 or 3 years, I've really started to, I don't know if I necessarily love them, but I really, really like them. And a beer like this right now is like the top of the food chain as far as like the aroma goes. It just has exactly what I'm looking for. It's very intense. It's super, dare I say, generically hoppy. And it has enough of that, the tropical and stone fruits. I'm not even getting much citrus in the nose. If anything, like maybe an underlying like white grapefruit. It's just all It's all for me, all Nelson and Mosaic with maybe a touch of Strata. It smells so good. Shout out to the train going by. I don't give a shit. Train, you settled down. Let's get into this. Cheer. Plural, Joe. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Joe. Really do appreciate it. I hope that the nose carries over. That's fucking fantastic. Oh my God. What is that finish? The finish is fucking wild. That is a wild finish. Hang on. Compose yourself. Figure it out. Make sure this review's at least 16 minutes long. And we'll go from there. Train. I don't know if you'll pick up on it. Train's going ham right now, right? The buy in this, 8.5%. Touch over medium. Some people might say it's a bit thin. I actually enjoy that. It makes me think like this is a lower ABV West Coast Double IPA, like more, maybe just a West Coast IPA, like 7.5%. The Double IPA thing is getting kind of lost in the body, I would say. The mouthfeel, it is very crisp, right? Like a moderate carbonation, incredibly smooth, and even a touch of creaminess, which, you know, you don't necessarily get that from West Coast beers in general, like West Coast IPAs and Double IPAs. But yeah, there's a little bit of creaminess. The taste, right up front, it's so good. Right up front is what I'm getting that I wasn't getting in the nose, and that's citrus. So a little bit of like a sweeter orange, not necessarily juicy, but like a sweeter orange. There's a touch of that white grapefruit, maybe even a touch of tangerine. And it's more of that, again, kind of pithy, bittering citrus fruit character as opposed to like a juicy, sweeter kind of feeling. As it passes through though, that's where the Nelson and Mosaic just like kind of smash together. And there's, like this is somewhat disjointed for me, but in a great way. I'm getting a bit of that white wine Nelson, a little bit of that like funky earthiness you get from Nelson, maybe a touch of like a crisp, juicy white grape. But then on the other end of the spectrum, very dank from the Mosaic, and it's again blueberry, mixed berry, strawberry, raspberry. Maybe a touch of like another stone fruit, like a mango or an apricot, maybe even like a white peach or, you know, some kind of underlying peach, not like a super juicy sweet peach. That's all like middle of the palate. And then from the middle of the palate through to the finish, there is this nice, firm, moderate bitterness. And what I like about it is with each sip, it's not building. It's kind of staying even keel. So this isn't overly bitter. This has a nice, moderate bitterness that kind of stays with you to the finish. It's semi to full-on dry, more approaching full-on dry. So it's full-on dry, moderately bitter, but there's a pretty big sweetness at the front. Again, there's a little bit of like underlying like bready, almost like a honey kind of malt sweetness. But again, it doesn't translate to the citrus. It's more to the middle of the palate where it's the stone fruits that seem a little bit sweeter outside of that peach. It's like mango, apricot, the blueberry, the you know, the mixed berries, the strawberry, and the raspberry just has like a little bit sweeter kind of vibe. And on the finish, the hop character that's kind of there with me is this nice, dank, drying kind of white wine feeling from the Nelson. I'm tearing this up. I like this a lot, like a lot. This is... I'm gonna pour the rest in here and try to formulate a thought. One I just formulated right there in the 3 seconds, the 8.5%, totally forgot about it. Totally forgot about it. So, goddamn. Listen, I'm sure a lot of you who drink West Coast hop forward beers a lot, you might not be blown away by this one. You know, and here in Buffalo, New York, you know, we don't have breweries just kicking out, you know, world-class, top-notch West Coast style hop forward beers all that often. Sometimes you get them here and there. This is fucking delicious. This is, to date, my favorite beer from Joe that he sent in that package. If I put everything together, love the taste profile of this one. It hides the ABV. The mouthfeel spectacular. The one real deterrent to this one is the body's a bit thin, but again, in my situation, my case, like everybody's different, right? And I think when beers are thinner and they're, you know, 8.5% West Coast Double IPA, I'm absolutely okay with that because it drinks a little bit lighter from the body perspective, but the flavor profile and the intensity tells you this is definitely in the double range. I love again, the artwork shouldn't matter, the label shouldn't matter, the name shouldn't matter, none of this should matter in terms of rating. Let me just tell you this. This is one of my favorite West Coast hop forward beers I've had in a hot minute. It's fucking fantastic. you put the whole total package, not Lex Luger, together. And I think I'm going to give this a straight 4.75 out of 5. This is fucking divine. This is divine. It's so good. You know, I could even kick it up to like a 4.8. I'm not giving it a 5 just because, again, I have to kind of review it on its merits, and that, you know, a thin body would probably deter some or maybe upset some. Paul over at PA Brew News. So I got to be honest with it, but 4.75 is a fucking amazing score. Like, this is just top-notch, awesome, world-class West Coast Double IPA. Like, it is, hands down. Like, and this is 100% going behind me on the pretentious wall of bottles and cans after this review. Not right after this. Usually I change them each year. Maybe I'll start changing them every 6 months because I start piling up way too many cans. Or maybe I can kind of rotate them maybe a couple times per year. Anyway, price point availability on this one, no idea because it's shred. Have no idea. I would pay upwards of $22 a 4-pack for that easily, like 100%. I'm sure it's not $22 a 4-pack. So if anybody knows, Joe, anybody else, let me know. And same thing with availability. I have no idea what shred. I just know. I'll tell you this about shred's availability. If I was in California, I would be seeking out their beers. Plain and simple. Just based on this beer alone. Like, I've really enjoyed the Indo Auto. It was a really good West Coast IPA. Their hazy IPA of Mosaic Street was really nice. That Pilsner that I posted earlier today, damn, like, well executed to a T, German style Pils. But this is the shit that I go crazy about. And I don't even love this style. Like, I don't. Joe loves the style. A lot of you other folks out there love, West Coast Hop 4 beers, love the style. I don't even love the style. And it's a fucking amazing beer. So huge thanks to Joe for this beer again. Go check out Joe's channel. I'm gonna have to check out his review because I feel like I hope he loved it as much as I do. I have no idea if he did. I feel like this is a beer that he kind of loses shit over, but I don't know. Everybody has different palates, but it is what it is. Anyway, I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers, like I said, 8.5%. It drinks so much lower than that in terms of the ABV. And again, that body, that if I was doing this blind, I might confuse this with like a 7.5% West Coast IPA. So kudos to them. This would get me in trouble. Like, I don't drink a lot of 8.5%, 9% Hop 4 beers anymore. But if I did, I could take down a couple of these and I'd be all fucked up. It'd be a great time. Anyway, to the next one. Cheers. Very clean on the palate too. Almost IPL-esque or double IPL-esque, but not right. It's kind of like that, the new cold IPAs, right? Kind of that clean, but it's not. So, fuck me.